Previously in Room 8, Jewel of Depression. In the year 2064, Dag, a 49-year-old man, is having breakfast as he reads the newspaper. He discovers that the museum is holding a new exhibit. Being hugely interested in art, Dag and Guyper, his purple-haired friend, quickly make their way to the museum. However, just before entering, disaster struck. A falling man, now identified as Patrick Gonzalez, slams down into a nearby car, causing a huge uproar amongst the crowd at the museum. Dag cautiously approached to examine the body, but before seeing the face of the victim, the NCDF soldiers come running to the scene. They quickly evacuate the whole area, including Dag. As Dag and Guyper made their way back to the apartment, they hear whispers of the crowd talking about the scene, mentioning that it could be murder or perhaps just suicide. Dag still doesn't know what to make of it as he heads back into the stable Mirage apartment. Chapter 2: Suitcase Arrival.
Dag? I thought you went to the museum. Or did you finish up the exhibition already?
I'm afraid the museum is closed due to an accident.
Accident? What do you mean?
I think it might be murder.
Did you say murder?
Yeah, it happened shortly I arrived.
But Dag, there has not been a murder in the past 20 years. Are you sure it ain't suicide or something else?
While Dag still doesn't know what to think, what he saw didn't seem like a regular suicide. His thoughts swirl through his mind like a twister, picking up more momentum until almost becoming a big scramble within. Actually, I'm not really sure at this point.
See? You cannot say this was murder if you don't know for sure. It was probably a suicide. I heard there have been several in the past few years. What I be trying to say be, don't jump to conclusions so smartly without any proof, alright?
Yeah, alright.
Thar, you've had a long day. You should go up and just loot it easy for now, yeah?
Dag gives Garn a nod and calls out to Guyper, who is sitting on one of the guest seats in the corner just beside the apartment's front doors. The hare quickly hops off the chair and dashes his way past Dag and begins ascending up the wooden stairs beside the reception desk. Before Dag could follow his friend up, he is suddenly stopped by Garn's last question.
Just wondering, do ye by any chance know the name of the deceased?
Patrick Gonzalez. After revealing the name of the victim, Dag notices the change in Garn's expression and diminished voice. Seeing the bear now in deep thought rather than himself, Dag can't help but ask, "Do you know that name?"
No, never heard of the name. Don't worry about it, yeah?
Sure, if you say so. As Dag ascends a few steps up the stairs away from Garn, looking back to make sure that the bear is out of sight, Dag whispers to himself some words of heart. He seems to be hiding something. This thought rushes a feeling of unease throughout Dag's body. Him and Garn have known each other for a long time, but this is the first time that the bear has shown to hide something between them. As Dag and Guyper reach the second floor, he hears a sound of a door being opened. Dag emerges from the stairs and to his right across the hallway sees a lone figure standing by door 6. The door's security box attached beside at mid-level scans the card in the woman's hand. Although every door now has this new feature installed since the last renovation, Dag strongly insisted to leave door 8 as it is, and continues to use the old key to this day. Before entering room 6, the woman notices Dag at the end of the hallway, who's looking towards her way. Like Dag, this is also her first time meeting her opposite neighbour in more detail.
Hello?
Yeah?
Hi. I don't think we've been properly introduced. You live in room 8, right?
Yeah. I'm guessing yours is room 6?
My name is Anne. What's yours?
Anne. Just until about 2 weeks ago, room 6 was vacant, so I guess Anne moved in sometime within then. I don't know the first thing about her, other than her name.
The name's Dag.
Anne's facial expression suddenly turns from smiling to a little surprise from the mention of his name. Dag notices the reaction and can't help but raise his eyebrow a little.
Is something wrong? If you'd like, would you like to come in for some tea?
Dag can feel something is off about Anne's sudden change in tone. He sorts through his own thoughts and realizes that he doesn't really have anything planned. The museum is closed and lunchtime is still a while away, so eventually he decides to take out on Anne's offer. However, somewhere in the back of his mind is giving Dag a bad feeling. But the man decides to suppress the bad feeling and forces himself to go through with the offer. As Anne opens door 6, Dag asks Kuiper just beside him if he also wants to visit Anne's room.
Oh, what an adorable hare. Does he live with you?
Yeah, name's Kuiper. Been with me since he was little. Anne also offers Kuiper to come into room 6, but the hare quickly turns down her offer. Dag can tell what Kuiper wants and quickly unlocks room 8 to open a gap big enough to let the large hare through. Dag can tell that Kuiper isn't too keen on Anne by the way he acted in front of her. Me too. There's something I don't like about her. Looks like he wants to head back instead.
Aw, will he be okay on his own?
He'll be fine. Sometimes I feel like he's the one who's looking after me. Dag can't help but think that his bad feeling and Kuiper being annoyed isn't connected in some way. Either way, he still decides to enter Anne's room despite these feelings.
Please, don't be afraid. Come in and take a seat.
Is here okay? Anne returns a nod of confirmation, while also pouring water into a kettle from the sink. She then sets it back on the stand and pushes the button to begin heating. Dag grabs the wooden chair and pulls it out from under the table. He gently sits himself down and positions himself towards the table, where he waits patiently for the tea to be presented. While the water boils, Anne decides to sit down to resume the conversation with Dag.
So, to my memory, you moved in about 2 weeks ago?
That's right, and during that time, I haven't gotten the chance to properly say hello. So, Dag, tell me about yourself.
Well,
I live in room 8.
Hehe. I mean, tell me something about yourself that I don't know.
Well, what would you like to know?
Okay, then let me ask you. Dag, are you married? As soon as Anne asked her question, the whole atmosphere in the room suddenly changes. Dag, who was just smiling a moment before, now portrays a rather disappointed and frustrated expression.
Let me ask you a question. Why did you choose that to be your first question?
Well, just curious, I suppose. Why? Is there something wrong?
Dag quickly stands up, almost knocking the chair down. With a frustrated expression, he faces Anne and says,
Thanks for the offer, but I won't be staying for tea.
Anne silently watches Dag as he makes his way out room 6. Anne now stares at door 6, gathering what had just happened. Dag, feeling really frustrated, lazily sits himself on the chair by the table. He shows a depressed yet annoyed expression across his distant face. He begins to grunt, occasionally shaking his head from side to side. Inside, he feels like screaming and shouting, but he doesn't want to release these feelings. Dag tries hard to contain himself, but the anger frustration feels as if it could burst at any moment through his emotions. His heartbeat begins to rise, his thoughts now also becoming very muddled, and just before he can no longer hold it all in, a soft furry texture comes into contact with his hand. Dag's body suddenly comes to a freezing halt, his heartbeat slowing down, and the grunts from earlier becoming a thing of the past. He realizes that Guyper is currently holding his paw on his hand. The hair shows concern on his face. With his friend's support by his side, Dag begins to recollect his thoughts and pushes out any unnecessary particles he doesn't need. And after a moment of silence, the man shakes his head a few times and whispers some words to himself.
Okay, Dag. Relax. Calm down. Relax. Sorry you had to see me like that. It's just that she asked if I was married, you know? Almost everyone I meet for the first time asks me that question. Why? Is it my appearance? My age? Do they just assume that everyone wants that stuff? I know. I had a bad feeling about her too. It's just, I always get bad feelings like this. But for once, just once, I fought to ignore those intrusive thoughts and counter them.
Dag can go on, but is stopped when Guyper's paw slightly nudges his hand. He seizes his line of words and notices the hair's nod. Since Guyper has lived with Dag for a long time, he knows him more than anyone. He knows that Dag has anxiety, depression, and OCD, which stands for Obsessive Compulsive Disorder, and that they can get very severe at times, even turning to violence and in some cases suicide. But the hair has helped and calmed the man down many times in the past, and this is no exception. Dag clearly knows the support from Guyper is invaluable. He always has thoughts about if Guyper had not been there all those times, who knows what kind of person he would have become, or if he'll even still be here. both have supported each other for a long time, going through the good and bad times like how close friends are. Kuiper doesn't want Dag to repeat this vicious cycle of thoughts and repeated phrases, which often makes matters worse in the long run. With that, Dag's eyebrows frown while also letting out, this time, a true smile. Thanks, Kuiper. You're a true friend. After a moment of silence, Dag now feels much better. He decides to go freshen up in the bathroom. After seeing the incident at the museum, the conversation with Anne, and what had just transpired, the man needs a little break from it all. As Dag freshens up in the bathroom, someone suddenly knocks on the door to room 8. Okay, I hear ya. Yeah? You're Ricardo, right? Good morning, Dag. I have a package for you. And yes, my name is Ricardo. Ricardo Ringer. This guy started working here about 2 years ago. Other than delivering mail to the tenants around here, he also works part-time at Light's bar downstairs. Unfortunately, I always have a hard time remembering his name for some reason. Sorry it took a while, been pretty busy lately. Package? Yeah. You asked for this item to be delivered, didn't you? Strange. I don't recall ever having a package being sent to me. Well, according to my list here, and the number code on this package, its delivery destination is room 8. That is strange. Would you like me to return it? Dag thinks deeply to himself for a moment. He knows that if he lets the suitcase be taken away, he'll never know where it came from or who sent it, so he decides to accept it for now. If it really doesn't have anything to do with him, then he can always return it to the reception desk. No, I'll accept the package. After Dag signs his signature to receive the package, Ricardo passes the suitcase over. Here you go. Have a nice day. As Ricardo walks down the hallway and disappears down the stairs, Dag makes himself back into room 8. Dag immediately begins to examine the suitcase. He notices that the surface is quite worn, having various scratches and bumps all over its body. He flips it over and back again, trying to find any information on where this mysterious luggage came from, but only sees the label with his address attached. Dag wants to give the suitcase another check all around. However, he hears a growling sound throughout the whole of room 8, which is something that both Dag and Kuiper hear every day. Guess I hadn't realized how hungry I am. I guess it's lunchtime already. With his stomach begging for attention, Dag drops the examination of the suitcase and decides to go to get something to satisfy his hunger first. However, Kuiper is still rather tired from having an early morning, so he decides to take a little nap for now. While Dag goes down to Light's bar to have lunch.